Traders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about AMC. I'm going to give it to you very quick, straight to the point. Now in the last video I talked about Rich Greenfield and how the guy was an absolute ding-dong. Now in this video I'm going to give it to you straight and I'm going to tell you exactly what I expect based on the charts going into this next week. And I'm going to tell you the key level that I'm watching before we get that massive big break that we're looking forward to, the gamma squeeze. So I'm going to need you to do two things. I'm going to need you to sit back, strap into your chairs, and then I'm gonna need you to tuck your shirts into your underwear because things are about to get very serious very quick, and I need you as formal as possible. Let's not waste any more time. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the No Pressure Program.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna look at is obviously what is going on with AMC. Now I wanna look at some of the stuff on the Internet of Things to get started. So looking here, we're gonna look at Ortex, and you know I don't pull Ortex up a lot, but there's a few key things I'm looking for to know if hedges are covering their position. Number one, utilization. Utilization has sat at around 99% to 95 to 100% in that block of range for roughly 2 months now. Now we're sitting at 99%. So the thing to go into Monday, as long as this number stays at 99%, I'm feeling absolutely positive. Jack to the tits. I feel great. And then the other thing I'm going to be looking at is actually going to be this volume meter down here. So as you can see on this right hand side. Now this is something I do want to focus on as well, and I don't see too many people talking about it. Now this right here and right here, that represents the volume traded daily on AMC, as simple as explained as possible. That's what that explains and goes over. Now what you saw here, if you look, you can see how we had a massive bump, we dropped, and then we stagnated, went back down. We're not seeing that here. We saw, yes, we're trending up, we have a nice bump, but we're trending sideways 2 days in a row at the same volume. Then if we come back over at Yahoo Finance, look at historical data, you can see we had a 700 million day on Thursday, then 660 roughly on Friday. So we kind of stagnated at the area. Now, before we go any further, I want to highlight, when you have these peaks and short squeezes, just so you know, typically you hit a massive day of volume and then its volume starts to significantly drop off. Now, I would be very surprised if we come in Tuesday morning and there's still the same thing. I would be very shocked if we come in dropping down to 300 million. That's not what I suspect whatsoever. I think FOMO is kicking in and more volume and more retail are getting involved. We may have actually had some sort of selling pressure going on, but the thought process that retail sold collectively at $35, $36 is absolute stupidity. That would mean that everyone got together and said, we're selling at $35 or we're gonna drop this thing $10. GameStop actually did the exact same thing when it reached its all-time high levels, because that's where we reached on this stock. I'm going to get to that here in a second with the charts, but it's worth noting $36 where we hit was the all-time high when it comes to AMC, and we're getting to levels to break that now. So rejecting from it on the first try wasn't all that bad. That's the one thing people need to maintain and think about, that since we rejected there does not mean that we won't break above it, especially when it comes to the second attempt. And this is where things start to get serious. Now, I want to highlight a few points. This right here represents a massive support, that block. What I'm going to do is take you to the 1 week time frame just so you can see what I'm looking at and why I think that is so significant. So we're going to zoom out, we're going to grab, and we're going to look. You can obviously see where we have held this range historically. We topped out the first time ever, January 2014. Topped out again, we broke above, came down, tested, came back up, broke below. You can see this was constantly being tested over the years. This has been a really massive range. $25 to $26 has proven itself, and now we're actually holding that range. The second part, the double top that we had back in 2016 and then back in 2015, I believe, yes, was at $36. Now let's go back, fast forward to where we are right now, back on the 15-minute time frame, and take a quick look at what's going on here. Now, as you can see, we had a quick little touch of that range, a lot of selling off right there. It's worth mentioning, this is most likely another short attack. We saw the borrowed shares were not returned on Friday. They just kept borrowing more and more and more, attacking, shorting. And believe me, Judgment Day is coming. So keep your eye out on this especially. Another thing I want to look at is the OBV. All this is looking extremely positive. Every area that we really are holding here, just being completely honest. We had a little bit of a retracement, but for that massive move on the downside that we had, Does this retracement on the volume justify that massive of a sell-off? A 35% sell-off on the stock, and that's the drop in volume? No, that does not make logical sense. And then I also want to come out to the 4-hour chart because you get a very good example here as well. So as we come out to this 4-hour chart, you can also see, and this is really the important one that we've been watching, you can actually see that we are now rebounding on the OBV as well. We have an uptick going on currently. So both of these are implying that, one, we're probably just having a little bit of a retracement, and number two, the strength is definitely still there. But I want to talk about the big area that I'm looking for a retest on this week. I want to see a $40 test immediately. I think we get above $36 pretty easily, and then once we get above there, it's going to be just all uphill to $40. And $40 are where things really start to get interesting. You see, once we hit $40, there is 225,000 options just on the $40 strikes. If we can hit that area, in my opinion, I do believe funds will have to start covering for those options specifically, and that will be a massive influx of volume onto the stock, which could really signal a gamma squeeze to start pushing us even further above $50, $60, maybe even $70. Now, I'm not saying that's the top, but this is just the beginning, because once you hit those areas, it just makes you come to the realization that shorts are going to have to start covering. If they're not covering at $20, $30, they're going to have to start considering it when it comes to $70. And especially when people start winning those borrowed shares back. So that's another thing you're going to have to keep into the back of your mind, because looking at this right now, we're on our way to $40. And once $40 hits, I believe this thing goes absolutely out of control. And there's no price target we can really set on it. But things are going to start getting absolutely ludicrous if they really haven't started getting there already. People are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm telling you, the fun is just beginning. And it's going to get very serious very quick, especially for you, Rich Greenfield, if you're watching. Now, I'm going to try to make the videos really short, sweet, to the point like this one. I'll try to have more coming out as well. If you have something you want me to talk about specifically, please comment down below, but I will keep having the updates rolling out here on the channel. Have a good one. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Namaste.